Hey Leo, welcome to your full moon intuitive report. My name is Dee. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. I am so grateful that you're here, Leo, and lucky you, this full moon is in your sign. And I have to say that this reading is definitely fairly encouraging, actually. Not everybody's has been so, but because the moon is happening, a full moon is happening in your sign, you're really going to get a very big boost in terms of how you feel about yourself. And Leos are very much about the essence of their personality exudes confidence. It exudes wanting to share, to perform, to be the center in order to, really open their heart. I mean, they themselves are very passionate and youthful and romantic and playful, and they are very much leaders in who they are. First house is very much the seed point, the potential of the personality. And so the sun has really been, moving through Leo's 7th house all this time, and it's interesting to have, Leo, you yourself being a very confident individual and very playful and wanting to share the essence of the best of you. When you are showing up because of this, when you're aligned with this appropriately and in a healthy way, when you show up in the terms of partnership, it's very, you're able to show up as much more of a person that sees the larger context of the relationship and is able to be a little bit detached when it comes to the relationships, because you yourself as a Leo feel confident, are able to share fully who you are just by being yourself. So when you come to other people or other situations, when you show up in a partnership, you show up as an incredibly adept and intelligent person that's there for to take care of the partnership and see, like I said, the larger context of it, not just about how it affects you, absolutely, but how you can show up as the water bearer in your relationships. So this is where the sun and the full moon is going to illuminate about you as a person, and the sun has just been moving through, really just stimulating, and it does it every year, stimulating the 7th house, this partnership realm. So now that we have Mercury moving into Pisces, this is your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, emotional intensity. It is the realm of the shadow and the subconscious. And, Neptune being here for a long time has really made it very powerful, but also very elusive and confusing, and the fog has been very thick. Now with Mercury here and about to go retrograde, the messages and the communications that we engage in are going to potentially become more confusing. And for Leos, it's going to be about sexuality, intimacy, the trust that is needed to share resources with other people. So we talk about 8th house, we talk about the emotional resources you share in a relationship, the actual material resources. So in a marriage, it's the actual money and your possessions and your house, but also sexuality, intimacy, and it's really about power. And so for Leos, this zone, you really just don't feel any boundaries, because you understand that all is all, because when you show up as an Aquarian in your relationships, you do know, and then you experience that all is the same. And so you don't tend to really get too intense or about other things, but in terms of sharing resources, like business resources, if you're in business with somebody, the money that you share, debts that you owe, and the power of intimacy in itself is a resource. And so you tend to just see everything as everybody's and not have a lot of boundaries here as a Leo, because you don't really see that. And so it's been even less boundaried. And now that Mercury's coming through, there's going to be some ideas in communication, but they're not going to be necessarily clear. You're going to have to dig in, go deeper in order for it to be clear, and have kind of a beginner's mind. That's really the sense that I'm getting, and some compassion for yourself and other people. Venus is now in Aries. This is your 9th house of what you believe, the wisdom that teaches. It's your understanding of everything, and it's the understanding that is synthesis of ideas you've learned so far. This is also where the Chiron wound is for the collective, is in the Leo ninth house. What do you believe? What is truth for you? What's the bigger picture? How do you understand everything? Ninth house is about foreign travel, and it's about larger cultural context and a higher education, more of a master's degree, as opposed to grammar school. And, it's all about potential for Leo. What you believe is, you believe in fire. You believe in the creative potential that exists in everything. And, there's the wounding there about that. The Chiron wound is so fascinating to me. About just like, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? If I keep doing this better, I will be loved. And especially with Aries, it goes very much deep to like the essence of who we are. And so now that Venus is coming through and is going to meet with Chiron, I think that there's going to be a real good opportunity to like manifest something creatively in order to resolve this, or at least come to terms with it. So for Leo, you're really looking at who you are versus how you show up in relationship, and it's really going to be focused on who you are, because that's where the moon will be full in your zone of who you are, and an opportunity to really worship that, and to kind of, I wouldn't say brace ourselves, but to be mindful that that energy will continue to grow over the hours that the moon is there. There's an essence of keeping the beginner's mind to not connect to any one thing, but also to trust that you're on the right path. So let's get into the reading of the cards. So you got two major arcanas, which is the beginning and pretty much the end. The World is number 21, and then the Fool is 0. It's the beginning and the end. So Leo, it's kind of, you're looking at both ends of the spectrum. The Fool being the beginner's mind, innocence, and that's also very Leo in terms of, it's playful and innocent and heart-opening. And the Fool does have an open heart. That's why he's even embarking on his journey to begin with, this person. And so really tapping into this energy of the Fool, not from a trickster perspective, but more of just the beginner's mind, like in Zen Buddhism, like just being open to what's coming. And what's coming is everything that you've wanted. This comes all full circle right now. The world is everything that we know. And so there's you as you, and then you showing up in relationship is this understanding that it's all part of the same thing. And this is really just, this relationship in itself is going to be highlighted. So with the Akashic Tarot, 8 of Keys, this is a very earth-oriented, and so where the earth signs, Capricorn, that's your 6th house, that's your work, that's the work you're doing in this lifetime, and that's, constantly getting an overhaul. And for everybody, but for you, it's in this realm of what's the work? What are you doing on a daily basis to become a master? And this is a master artisan. You're doing the work, Leo. It is happening. You can't help it. Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter in the South Node, and soon Mars is going to be here too. You are doing the work, and I think it's paying off because you're at master artisan status. At least that's what you're working towards. 5 of Scrolls, diversity. There's a lot of options. And I think with Mercury going retrograde, this is where it's going to get confusing, is that there is so many different ways to really go, how to think about things. Where do you want to be? Like, you have so many options. And that's the thing about the Fool, which is wonderful, is that you have so many options. And so the Fool is just following his heart. He's just going where the wind blows him. And he totally is trusting the process because he's about to step off this ledge, right? But it's all here. It's all here. It's all here for you, Leo. And you know that. You are an Aquarian when it comes to how you connect with everybody. Absolutely. And 12th house. Yeah, your 12th house is Cancer. That's where the North Node is, It's just like your spiritual work really is about holding space and taking care of people. But that's a totally different story. The honeybee, compassion. Let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. Especially for yourself, I would say. Especially about, but also others, because your belief system is being informed by Chiron, and Chiron is the original wound and shame. And so when your belief system is informed by something like this, it's going to be distorted in some way. It's certainly going to be affected, Leo. And I think you know, based on the Leos that I know, that certainly has come up. So Venus is going to come along and give us an opportunity to have like some sort of creative manifestation around that, to do something. She's going to want to express it, and she's going to want to make some art about it and find a way to bring, you know, this into, you know, Venus is very healing of the body. And I think that she's going to, you know, give an opportunity for all of us to like really do something constructive about this Chiron. And for Leos, it's about what you believe. What's the big picture for you? Like, how do you understand the world around you? And I think that you got to be easy on yourself. I think that you're on the right track and you're building that mastery. It is happening, and you just don't know the full picture yet. And what's going to be important is that Leos really tap into who they are with this full moon, and realize that you can show up in relationship as this innovative, like rebellious, futuristic, like, you know, knowing what the big picture is. Because you yourself are confident and playful and willing to be open-hearted, like the Fool. Everything you have is here. But just keep in mind that, again, like I said, diversity, there's a lot of options. And there's no reason to really stick to one right now, because you are doing the work to cultivate your own mastery right now. And so maybe that's just what it is for you, is to just be that, you know, Capricorn is very much the master artisan. Like, you have mastered the ability to create materially, and that's the work for you. That is the work for Leos in this actual physical life. But that's not the end of the story, and there's a lot going on, and what you need to connect to is who you are, and be willing to share that. And Venus, I think, is really going to allow Leos to feel where their belief systems have been and will continue to be affected by Chiron up until 2026. And so this is just this is an opportunity right now to find a way to constructively create out of this wound in order to help resolve it. So, and Leo, you're great at that, because you just exude confidence and playfulness, and you want to create. You absolutely, for your own self-expression, that's who you are. So really tap into that, and just let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority. Like, be easy on yourself, especially when it comes to sharing resources with people. Be easy on them too. That's what I feel like for Leos. It's an intense time out there, so take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me. Check the description box below to get all the deets. Facebook is the hub. That's where you can get access to all the different platforms that I post astrology and intuitive readings on, and how you can book a session or a reading with me. Take care of yourselves. Have a very creative and inspiring full moon, Leo. Thank you. I'll see you next time.